Hello and welcome to TPM's 3-Minute Thursday. This week we want to take part 2 of our camera views in SolidWorks. So last week we quickly saw how to set up our camera view. Now let's take a look at some of the finer controls. Starting up at the top left, aimed at target, floating. Floating just means exactly that. The camera's just kind of floating out there, whereas aimed and target, I can take this red dot and we can drop it on a particular vertex or select a vertex and tell our camera that's our focal point. That's where we want to point the camera at. And then below that we have our camera position. Now we can pick a face, vertex, or edge and attach the camera to that. Below here we have camera rotation. If you notice, it'll just rotate the camera. Now I can just as easily rotate that camera with my rotate over on the right hand side, and it'll update the camera rotation on the left. Now below all of this we have our field of view, which controls our perspective and our aspect ratio. And if you hit the pull down right here, you've got some standard lens values here, and you can see that you've got all of your angle and distance controls, and shows you where everything is. Honestly, if you're not a photographer and you don't know what all these different lenses mean, a lot of times it's just a matter of being able to set what looks good for you. Okay, and then down below that in the aspect ratio, this is just to allow the control of your aspect ratio to some standard settings. Or if you're like me and you want to control that, you're not really beholden to any aspect ratio and you just want it to look the way you want it to look, turn on the drag aspect ratio option, and then you can grab a corner and get this thing looking and sized the way you want it. Okay, so maybe I want something that's nice and wide or something that's really nice and thin and tall. You have all the controls there. All right, and then lastly, down at the very bottom, you have it's called depth of field. So depth of field will allow me to decide where do we want our focal point to be. So I've got a vertex defined in here right up front, and then it's defining my approximate depth of view in front of and behind the view there, so you get a little bit of fall off, and that's kind of what you see right here. So we've got the depth of view dropping off towards the back of this particular model. Okay, so these have been all the properties for setting up your camera view, and hopefully you'll have a lot of fun setting these up and create some really awesome renderings, or even just some basic screenshots. So set up your camera view, turn off your edges, turn on your ambient occlusion, and there you go. You've got a halfway decent start to a nice rendering to show people what you're after in your design. So that's been TPM's 3-Minute Thursday. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.